Welcome to the weirdest game I've played so far in 2025. This is To a T. Hit the music. I have not been able to get that annoyingly earworm "you are the perfect shape" out of my head ever since it crawled its way inside. I've also had To a T stuck in my head right alongside it. That, however, is there because I'm still trying to figure out what it is exactly that I just finished playing. If you know anything about the dev team behind To a T, it might make a little more sense. Uvula, a team co-founded by Keita Takahashi, known as the creator of the Katamari franchise. Now, Takahashi is back with a game called To a T, and if you've played Katamari or any of their other games, you'll understand that things get weird, and well, yeah, that fits this bill. You see, To a T is a game about the daily struggles of Teen, who's stuck in a T-pose for unknown reasons. Except, that's not what this game is about at all. This game, it starts with Teen and their daily life, and then it gets weird. And then, it gets weird. I can't and won't talk about that part of the game because it would be heavily into the spoiler territory. So instead, let's wind it back. To a T plays out over 8 episodes. Each one isn't very long, at most about 45 minutes, and each of them is bookended by earworm songs. The first few start the same way, greeted by Teen, given a rough recap and update on the day's plan. It's a Saturday morning cartoon in game form. You take control of Teen as they get dressed, go to the bathroom, have breakfast, wash out eye boogers, and brush their teeth. Each of these are their own minigame and highlights the little struggles of being someone with a disability. Except, it doesn't. It shows ingenuity, it shows creativity, it shows understanding. As someone with a disability, it might be shocking to hear, but most of us don't think about these things on a daily basis. Teen was born in a T-pose, and I have questions about that one. To see that they've already figured out how to approach their daily tasks in a way that fits them makes sense. The modified bathroom tap to help them use the sink, the longer spoon and toothbrush at home, the adapted pencil at school, they all made me smile. It makes sense for Teen. The one that pleased me the most was that there's an animation of closing a door with their foot. Everyone does it, sure. It might not stand out, but as someone who has a disability that affects their arms and hands, it's a more common occurrence to use my feet when I can to help out. Seeing that reflected in a game showed an understanding of disability. During the intro for each episode, there's a line in the song that says, "The little things are hard for me." People always think that it's going to be the big stuff in life that ends up causing an issue, and honestly, it's not. It's the small stuff that gets annoying. Going on holiday, theme park, all that kind of stuff, no issue. But if I drop my credit card on a flat surface, that's half my day gone trying to pick it back up unless I have a piece of paper handy. There's no more striking moment in the game than during the first episode, where after Teen has gone through their routine and ran around their house being excited, it's time for school. The mood instantly drops. Teen doesn't want to go to school as they're going to get bullied. You're no longer running around as a happy, energetic teen. The pace slows, the music changes. That felt real. It's something that I'm glad was in the game because it shows how that can affect. And it shows an understanding and care from the developers of getting this right. It would have been easy to make a game centered around the joke of, oh, main character can't bend arms. What wacky hijinks will they get into? And that's not this. To a T ends up taking what could have been a one-note joke and makes something meaningful out of it. Sure, that ends up being weird, but what more would you expect when Keita Takahashi is involved? If they had, we would have ended up with another run-of-the-mill game. We would have ended up with something fairly middle. Instead, we end up with something that's as unique as Teen is, and tries to say something about it along the way. The mood and pace of the game, of course, picks up after that initial episode, and we're back to the weird, wacky world you'd expect from the creator of Katamari. At one point while playing, my partner asked if what we were seeing was Teen's perspective of the world, as it could easily be seen as that. the filter of a childlike imagination being applied over everything, because the world we're seeing is insane. The world is colourful, charming, and filled with oddball characters you would expect to see in any Saturday morning cartoon. All of this works to build a story that tries to stay entertaining while showing a slice of the day-in-the-life style for teen. The problem when you try to approach replicating that episodic style in the form of a game, though, is that it can end up feeling repetitive in places. You can skip Teen's morning routine if you wish, which will have the interesting side effect of things like cutscenes will have Teen having their eye gunk there. Or if you have breakfast and then forget to brush your teeth, or choose not to, you'll just have a dirty mouth. Dirty teeth and sleep dust are the least of the problems with 2T, though. The biggest and most frustrating throughout is the camera. Going for that old-style locked-in-place cinematic camera can cause more than a small amount of annoyance as things block your view, and it can just be really frustrating as it limits your amount of freedom with it. It can also end up making it really hard to collect the myriad of coins scattered throughout the town when the camera tries to tell you to go one way, you're trying to go the other, and so it just ends up blurring your view. Towards the later parts of the game, if you're using the auto-scrolling in the conversations, it sometimes misbehaves and ends up having a few lines get skimmed past too fast because they're pretty short. And that's really odd given the pacing of the rest of the text is pretty slow and allows you to read it in your own time. All of this builds up to create an experience that ends up being confusing, maybe a little frustrating. While writing this, a friend joked with me that I should have the review score flick between two different numbers because I was having trouble working out where I was going to place this. It's endearing, it's rough around the edges, but that rough is subjectional. Like, you can avoid the optional tedium of the start of each day, or you can choose to go through it. You can skip the earworm songs if you don't like them, or you could listen to them before you just then plow on with the story, which is only 8 episodes long. Around the halfway mark, the daily routine shifts up anyway if that tedium is annoying you. The camera can end up being incredibly infuriating if you're trying to free roam around, or just a minor inconvenience if you're just sticking to the story. Those spiky edges are always there, but depending on how you limit your interactions with them, they can be less annoying. That doesn't mean that they're not still annoying when they do pop up, however. So, where does that put us? 2T costs around £20 or $20. During our 6-hour playthrough, we unlocked 17 of the 33 achievements, some of which are tied to minigames, including one during the credits, and others require things like obtaining all 535 clothing items. None of these are exceptionally hard, they're just going to be time consuming. Oh, and the game is also on Game Pass, if that's your kind of thing. There's something charming about 2T. Teen is a strong main character. Their joy at life and the struggles they deal with are on display, showcasing a message about being true to oneself, embracing what makes us us, and just enjoying the moments with your friends. It's refreshingly soft and colourful, even if camera frustrations and tedious routines try to raise friction during that experience. 2T is filled with everything you would expect to find in a Saturday morning cartoon. At times, it feels aimed at a younger audience for that reason, and it might be something that your kids really do connect with. Even if at others, things get so weird that it feels like you're watching an episode of Bluey while high on cough syrup. Disability, friendship, family, being unique, the spirit of adventure are all talking points in 2T. But the most important message is sung about from start to finish. You are the perfect shape.